Is Jackie the Mimic? Personally, I want to say no at this point simply because the teaser shows Mimic wearing what looks like Jackie's body itself. It doesn't have her eyes anymore, it's the Mimic's eyes. And the model we see of Jackie in the Help Wanted 2 update seems intact, and the eyes are far different from the Mimic's. Jackie is also able to speak, and the Mimic in the book was not able to speak. That being said, both the Mimic and Jackie are missing a lower half early on, so I can understand why people are thinking that Jackie might be the Mimic because there is a similarity there. I also want to suggest though that the books are not all necessarily directly canon yet. It seems likely that since the Tiger Rock plush is present, a lot of these characters and ideas will be present in the games as well. But I don't want to get too carried away yet and assume that everything plays out just how it does in the books. For example, to counter my own argument, while I think that Jackie isn't the Mimic, it is possible that the game takes the Mimic origin story where Edwin made the Mimic for his son to play with, and they change that story a bit. So instead of the Mimic starting out as merely a torso robot endoskeleton, unable to speak and without legs, the game gives us the idea that Jackie is the Mimic, and to translate the story better for a video game story's audience, the Mimic is given the ability to speak right away. But we can still connect the idea that this is the Mimic from the book because it still doesn't have the feet, just like the book's Mimic doesn't have feet. And like you could further it and be like, maybe Edwin gifts his child this Jack-in-the-Box or something like that. It's still similar to the book's story, but not everything is like 100% copy of the book, so you can still have it be his kid is lonely and wants to play with his dad all the time, but he can't, so he makes him this Jack-in-the-Box to play with, or something like that. And on the other hand, though, if the books are 100% canon, then Jackie has to take place sometime after Edwin's son is already deceased, because there's no mention of Jackie before then. Which would bring up the question of what was Jackie made for? Was she a rental like the Fun Times? Was she Afton's? What was her original role? So if anything, I think it's more likely that Jackie gets destroyed and the Mimic crawls inside and mimics Jackie. And why the Mimic does this is probably going to be answered in the game, but we have a lot more to think about in the meantime.